Hey guys, Mr. Riz here to help you out on the next section in Algebra 2. This is going to be a little bit longer video because we're going to be going over graphing linear functions for 2 days. So if you ever need to just stop this video after the first day or skip through it to find the next part, feel free to do that. But we're going to go through all of the graphing linear functions notes here. All right, so the goal is to make sure that you guys can graph a linear function. The key thing to note is that any linear function can be written in the format of, pause this here. My pen's not working. It can be written in the form of y equals mx plus b, where we have two very important pieces of information. We have the m, which, there we go. Now I got my pen up. My pen disappeared for a second. M is the slope. We talked about that in the last section. So that is your rise over run. And B, we talked about from a while ago, is the y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, the up and down. So the key thing here is to remember slope. Slope is our rise over run, and it's how far up and over to the right we go. Okay, so if we ever have a negative slope, that means we go down and still to the right. Okay, so there are two ways that we can graph a line. We can graph the line if it's in slope-intercept form by using a graphing calculator. And just to show you guys that here, if we wanted to go through, and I believe I have a graphing calculator I can pull up, unless they got deleted over the summer. There we go, TI SmartView. So if you're using a Texas Instruments calculator, that'd be the one that's I have in the back of my classroom, or if you are taking like a state test like the ACT, they give you like a graphing calculator like this. Desmos is real easy. You just type in the equation, it graphs it for you. I think you guys are pretty much familiar with this. The Texas Instrument here is a little bit different. So if I wanted to graph the equation y equals 3x minus 4, what you're going to do is to press the y equals button here first in the top left corner. If there's anything there before, just click clear to go have it go away. And then you type in your 3. And then the x, you have to use this little button next to the alpha sign. That's your x. You see there's other different types of variables, but it will automatically be x for you. And then minus 4. Then to see what the graph looks like, you're just going to click graph. And there it is. Now to help you out, what you can also do, if you do second table or second graph, this gets you a table of points for you. And you can scroll up or scroll down by clicking the arrows to see the other values to plot. Another way that you can graph is just simply using the y-intercept as your first point. So the y-intercept is where it crosses the up and down axis, and then you use the slope to create 2 or more points. And all you do is connect the dots. I'm going to do that because these problems are pretty easy, and we'll just stick with that. Okay, so we'll walk you through this first one here. Okay, how do we graph this line? Y equals 1/4 x minus 1. So first thing we want to do is start with the y-intercept, and that is at -1. So you're going to go to the up and down line. You always start on the up and down line. And we're going to start here at -1. Then we're going to look at the slope. The slope is up 1 over 4. So from there, we're going to go up 1 over 4, put another dot. Now we'd keep going up 1 over 4, but we'd be off the graph. So to get our other dot, we got to go in the opposite direction. So down 1, left 4, down 1, left 4. We get our other dot, which you can still see is up 1 over 4 from where we started. All right, as long as we got 3 dots, we can do our best job at connecting the line. And there we go. All right, if you want to try the next one on your own, you can pause this video. But let's get this started. So you're going to start with the y-intercept. The y-intercept is at 2. So on the up and down line, you're going to start at 2. And then the slope here, if we have a negative x, technically that's -1x. And technically that's -1 over 1. So we're going to go down 1, right 1. So go down 1, right 1, put another dot. Down 1, right 1, put another dot. You can keep going all the way across if you wanted to just follow the pattern. I like to do that. It makes my lines a little bit straighter. And you can go the opposite direction to keep the pattern all going through. All right. Do your best job connecting the dots. And there's the line. All right, so why don't you really try to graph these here, see if you can figure these out. All right, let's check them out here. So this one here, we're going to start at -4. So -4 on the up and down line is right here. And the slope is up 4 over 3. Okay, so we'll go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 3, 1, 2, 3. Should have a dot right there. And then we go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 3 again. There we go. We got 3 dots. It's about as best as we can do. Go through there. All right. Next, okay, if we got y equals -2/5 x plus 5. Okay, so we're going to start at the plus 5. So we're going to go on the up and down line at 5. So we'll get 3, 4, 5 right here. And then if we have a -2/5, we go down then to the right 5. So down 2, right 5, 2, 4, 5. I'll go down 2 over 5, 2, 4, 5 right here. I'm going to just keep the pattern going up here, up to left 5. Right here, up to left 5 would be right here. That way I have as many points kind of help me draw that nice straight line. Okay. It's really important that we spend time graphing lines. I don't think that it's crazy difficult once you get the hang of it, but it's going to be really important that we can have nice straight lines. So when we do tougher things like solving systems of equations, we know how to do this and we can get answers quicker that way for tougher problems. Okay, so let's talk about this one here. How do we graph y equals -2/3 x plus 1/3? All right, whenever you have, and we could go through and say the y-intercept is at 1/3. So that is in between 0 and 1. It's probably like right here. But then it's like, do we go down to 1, 2, and over 3? Okay, are we going to put another dot right here-ish? Maybe. This is where using a graphing calculator really helps out. So if we go back to our graphing calculator, and we type in the -2 divided by 3x plus 1 divided by 3, we can look at the graph. And yeah, that's kind of what we had, just barely above. Hey, Maddie, welcome again. We can see it's just barely above the line. But if we go to our table, second table, we can actually find some nice points on here. So here we got one at -1, 1. And so let's go back to our graph and put a dot at -1, +1. And then we had another dot at, where else? We'll go back to our graph at 2, -1, which would make sense because at 2, -1 over 2, down 1 right here, which makes sense because that's down 2 and over 3 from this dot. Now that we have these two good solid dots, we can just kind of keep the pattern going, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, and then up to left 3, keeping that going all the way across. And if we connect the dots, you get to see, yeah, we have those dots, and then we also go through the ones that we kind of hypothesized. Okay, so let's have you continue graphing some more problems here. Let's just see how well we do. If you want to pause the video, you can do that. I'm going to try to zoom this out so we can get. Oh, a little too much there, Mr. Rose. There we go. All right, so that's a good joke there. All right, so let's check these out here. This one here should be pretty straightforward. We're going to start at -2, and we're going to go up 2 over 3. The slope is 2/3, down to left 3. All right, so line 1 should look like so. All right, line 2, okay, not too bad. We have a weird fraction, but let's see if we would start at +5. And then the slope, we're going to go down 5, right 2. So down 5, right 2, down 5, right 2. Those dots, and we can see it has a negative slope, so it's going down. All right, the next one we definitely want to use a graphing calculator on. So 5 over 2 is 2.5. And then the slope is down 3 over 2. So we could take a guess. We could go down 3, 1, 2, 3 over 2. Or if we want to go through, use the graphing calculator, try to get some better points. We got -3 over 2x plus 5 over 2. See, that's what it should look like. Go to the table. Let's find some nice points here. We got -1, 4. All right, so I'm just going to graph that 1 point and then use the slope. So -1 is at 4, and then use the slope from there. So go down 3 over 2, down 3, 1 over 2, down 3 over 2. And we can see here, if we connect those dots, it went through the ones we guessed. Okay, if you want to pause the video, you can, but now we're going to be moving on to the day 2, making sure we can still handle this. All right, let's do day 2 here. So once again, we're going to be using our graphing in slope-intercept form, but what we'll see in day 2 here is not all the time equations are going to be given to you in slope-intercept form. All right, so let's see this one here. If we look at the y equals 3x plus 2, so just a refresher here, the slope is 3 or 3 over 1. That kind of helps us. That means we're going to go up 3, right 1, and the y-intercept is at 2. So if we graph this, we're going to go up to 2 here, and we're going to go up 3 over 1. And then if we run out of room, we go in the opposite direction, down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1. Connect the dots, and man, that is a good looking line. All right, next one here. If you want to pause and practice any of these on your own, feel free, but we're just kind of warming up from what we did the other day. All right, so here, this one, we got m, the slope is -1 over 2, so that means we're going to go down 1 over 2. And then our y-intercept is 3. So remember, we always start with the y-intercept. So we're going to start on the up and down line at 3. And then we use the slope. We're going to use the slope of down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. I like to just keep putting as many dots as I can on my graph. It's the straightest line I can possibly make. What's up, Jace? Oh, you Pink Panther. Okay, that's cool. I'm making a YouTube video right now. All right, next we got y equals x minus 4. Okay, I think the y-intercept is pretty easy here. It is -4, so we're going to start at -4. And then the slope is the number next to the x. Technically, it is a 1. And also technically 1 is 1 over 1. So we're going to go up 1 over 1. So from that dot, we're just going to keep moving up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Nice 45-degree angle there. Connect those. Here we go. All right. So hopefully our brain can remember those pretty basic ones. The only ones that are probably a little tricky from before is the next problem. What do we do if we have 1/3 x plus 5/3? All right, we want to make sure we know how to go through and use a graphing calculator. So we could guess there, but easiest thing to do is use the graphing calculator. Whenever we have a y-intercept, that's a fraction. So we got 1 divided by 3x plus 5 divided by 3. We can click graph. We know that's the line should look, what it should look like, but we want to do second table so we can get some points here. Here's a nice point here at 1, 2. So I'm going to go to the graph here, and I'm going to put a point at over 1 up to at 1, 2, and then I'm going to use the slope. All right, the slope is up 1, right 3. So from there, go up 1, right 3, up 1. Oh, I'll go down 1, left 3 to keep the line going. Connect those. Oh man, that was terrible, but hey, that happens. And if we look at where it crosses the y-intercept, that's in between 1 and 2, and 5 divided by 3 is in between 1 and 2. Kind of gives us a good idea that we did this right. Okay, so today what we're going to do is what happens if we have equations that are not in y equals mx plus b form? So what we're going to do is we're going to get the variables that we're trying to solve for on one side, which means we're always going to try to get the y by itself. And then we're going to go through PEMDAS backwards to solve for y. So we are good. You guys know how to solve this problem, right? 6 plus 2y equals 26. you would minus the 6 over, and then you would divide by 2. Well, when we put an x here, we're going to do the same thing. And just you'll have to know is we can't subtract x from 26. So when we subtract the 6x over, we're going to say that this is 2y equals negative 6x plus 26. We're going to put the x first because remember our goal is to do y equals mx plus b. We have the x number first. And then to get the y by itself, we're going to divide everything by 2. We're going to divide both sides by 2. All right, so we'd get a regular y. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3x, and 26 divided by 2 is 13. Now that's an equation we can graph. So today, let's practice getting these just into y equals mx plus b form. So what we want to do is get the y by itself. All right, so we're going to minus the 2x over here. And that means we get a negative 5y equals negative 2x plus 15. It's almost like we're not doing any math. We're just moving it to the other side and changing the sign. Then we're going to divide by negative 5 because that's the number next to the y. And let's see. All right, here's an easy thing to do. You can put this in a calculator, or if you look at this, does negative 2 divide by 5? No. One thing we do have negatives canceling out, but we're going to leave this as a fraction, negative 2 over 5. Fractions are okay because they're easy to graph, up 2 over 5. And then here, 15 divided by negative 5 is a negative 3. All right, next one here, we want to get this y by itself. We're going to move the x over. If this is a negative 7x, we're going to add 7x over to the other side. So we get 11y equals 7x plus 77. Then we divide by the variable or the number next to the y. We're going to divide by 11. Once again, if that doesn't come out nice, leave it as a fraction. Fractions are our friends. So 7 over 11x plus 77 divided by 11. That one comes out nice. That is 7. All right. If you want to try the next one on your own, you can. Let's do this here. All right, we're going to add 4x over to the other side. So we get negative 9y equals 4x plus 19. Remember, this is an x that is not, all right, all it is we're moving it over. Can't combine them if they don't both have x's. We're going to divide them everything by negative 9 now. We get y equals, all right, 4 divided by negative 9 doesn't come out nice, so we leave it as a fraction. Now I just put the negative on top. It's all the same thing, right? And then here, 19 doesn't divide by 9, so let's leave that as a fraction. Remember, those are things that we can graph if we use a graphing calculator. All right, so what we're going to do here to practice is we got 3 more problems. We'll figure out this equation and then graph it. All right, so let's do this. We're going to add the 7x over to both sides. Remember, we don't really do much. We just move it to the other side, and it would be a positive 7x plus 35. Then we're going to divide everything by negative 5. That's the number next to the y. All right, we got a fraction here. This would be a negative 7x, or negative 7 over 5x. And then here, negative 35 divided by negative 5 is a negative 7. 7's going on here. So let's graph this. We're going to start at negative 7. So we're going to start on the up and down at negative 7, 3, 6, 7. And then we're going to use the slope to help us graph the other point. So we'd go down 7 over 5. All right, that's off the grid. So I'm going to go up 7 over 5. And then I'll go up 7 over 5 again. Okay, so barely able to get 3 of lines on there, but we got them. And there's the line. All right, if you guys want to pause the video, try the next 2 on your own. Great. I'm going to go through them now. All right, so this problem here, we need to subtract the 2x over to the other side, and we would just get 4y equals negative 2x plus 16. Then we're going to divide everything by 4. Now this one's kind of tricky. You'd probably be okay with your graph if you didn't do this, but technically here, negative 2 does not divide nicely by 4, but it does reduce to negative 1/2. If you have negative 2 over 4, your graph will still be all right. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So we can go through and plot the points. We're going to start here at up 4. And we are going to use the slope. The slope is negative 1, so down 1 over 2. We just keep going down 1 over 2, plotting as many points as we can. If you did negative 2 over 4, you would still get the same line. You just won't have as many points here. But when you connect the dots, it would be the exact same line. Reducing fractions is nice, but it's not a necessary thing to do when it comes to writing equations. All right, last problem here for the video. We're going to minus 3x over to the other side. And so we get a negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 5. Alrighty. We're going to divide everything by negative 2. All right, the negative 3 over negative 2 just becomes a positive 3 over 2x. And then negative or 5 over negative 2 doesn't come out nice. So this one we're stuck using a graphing calculator. Let's take it out. Let's type in the equation. We got 3 over 2x and then minus 5 over 2. We can graph it, but the biggest thing is we want to look at the table, find a nice point. How about over 3 up 2? There's a point at 3, 2. So we're going to go through, plot a point at over 3 up 2. All right, and then we're going to use the slope of, oh, did I do that right? I'm going to double check that. Doesn't seem, I feel like I messed up. X is 3, y is 2. 3 over 2x. Zero is at negative 2.5. Okay. Feel like I messed up. This is a good way to end the video. X is 3, y is 2. Slope is positive 3 over 2. So we'd go up 3 over 2. I'm beating that right. All right, let's just do it. Let's go. Oh, we go up 3 over 2. I'm thinking 2 over 3. I got my x's and y's mixed up. It's in the morning. It's okay, Mr. Riz. Up 3 over 2. Up 3 over 2. We go down 3 over 2. Down 3 over 2. Connect the dots. Yeah, I got my rise and run mixed up. That happens. All right, there's our line. Okay, we got our points. We're good here. All right, so remember, we're spending 2 days on this section. So there is the IXL that you guys will be working on. You'll have to get 3 ribbons or 90% or higher. All right, guys, thanks for watching this longer video, but hopefully you got this lesson down now. All right, have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.